Hello, Big Ten fans. Charlie Clark here with the interns and internsbig10.com. I have my Week 10 picks ready. Should be another good week in the Big Ten. We'll get some of the easy ones out of the way. Nebraska versus number 10 Ohio State. I think this is a bounce-back game for Ohio State after losing at Purdue 2 weeks ago. So I'm taking the Buckeyes. Rutgers versus Wisconsin. Bounce-back game for the Badgers as well. I'm taking Wisconsin at home. Michigan State versus Maryland. Michigan State's defense, I think, is really good. They just beat Purdue. I think they go on the road and beat the Terrapins. So those three games are out of the way. Speaking of Purdue, they play number 16 Iowa at home this week. Now Iowa's defense has been good lately, but struggled a bit against playmaker last week and Trace McSorley and Penn State. Purdue's offense is better than the teams that Iowa's defense has dominated. So Iowa's defense played really well against Maryland, against Indiana, and against some non-conference opponents that just don't have as good of an offense as Purdue. It's in West Lafayette. I think the Boilermakers take this one. I'm taking Purdue. Minnesota versus Illinois. Minnesota's had a down season, but I do think they end up beating Illinois. Let's remember Maryland hung at least somewhere in the 60s in points against Illinois last week, and Maryland got shut out the week before. So I think that just shows you how bad Illinois is. I think Minnesota goes into Champaign and wins. A big one, Penn State versus Michigan. Penn State and Michigan both in the top 15. Michigan just beat Wisconsin and Michigan State. They could get a trifecta of big victories in the middle of the season. Really good for the stock of Jim Harbaugh and that program in general. Also, Penn State can pick up a big win. Would be a statement win for James Franklin and the Nittany Lions in what has been a down season so far, if we're being honest. I'm interested to see how Trace McSorley, Penn State's quarterback, performs against one of the best defenses in the country, which is Michigan's. I think it could be a battle, but it's also in Michigan, and Michigan's defense has just been so good recently against good teams. Although I do think Penn State's probably better than both Wisconsin and Michigan State, despite Michigan State beating Penn State on the road. I think offensively, Penn State's going to be Michigan's toughest challenge in these last three games. But I still think Michigan prevails. I'm taking the Wolverines. The last one is Notre Dame, number 3 Notre Dame versus Northwestern. I'm conflicted here. I'm going to take the Irish, but I really do want to see a Northwestern victory. NU's won 4 in a row. They're at home. This would be a giant, giant victory in terms of shaking up the national landscape, but it doesn't really change Northwestern's season too much in terms of getting to the Big Ten championship. This game is not in conference, so Northwestern could lose or win this game, and it wouldn't impact how likely they are to get to the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis. But Notre Dame's undefeated. I think that they go in and win, but I could honestly see this game going either way in whatever manner possible. So, yeah, it should be another really good week in the Big Ten. We had a good one last weekend. Make sure to tune in for our recap and analysis on Monday.